Got it.
You're listening to a Came from the Radio. You know this is Jennifer Louise Feldman or Elman. If you don't, guess what you do now? Now I'm here with CQ of the CQ Experiment. She's a singer, songwriter. She has a new single called Radio. Listen to that. I'm going to link that below this on all the videos. And I just went to a record release party. Coincidentally, we had this interview scheduled, and the woman who has the record release party is in the movie that I'm executive producing. It's a small world. So the CQ Experiment is a singer, and she's the songwriter for Linda Lynn's new, super fun, sexy, cool single called Bilingual. So we got bilingual we're going to talk about. We got radio. We're going to how you got started. We have a very, 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 very talented singer. I've heard her sing Lizzo. She kind of reminds me of Amy Mann. You could just pick someone who's super epic and she kind of might remind you of them. Anyway, with no further ado and blah, 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 CQ Experiment.
Hey, CQ here. Thanks for having me.
Now, first question. We'll start easy. You're a singer-songwriter, but do you like or do you enjoy when other people write the lyrics that you're going to sing for you? How do you feel about that?
I do, because everybody's input is important. And I had the privilege of being in a room with a bunch of creative people. And you have instrumentalists, I had a co-writer at one point. And, sometimes I would come in there with all these ideas, and maybe you just, need someone to help you wrap it up in a bow and make it finished, and sometimes it's the reverse. Sometimes I have nothing, and people are in there producing live for you, so you're just on the spot and you're humming, and there's this whole, people are just throwing ideas and melodies out there, and sometimes you regurgitate some words, and then like you have to kind of honor that,
Right.
and that's usually how it starts for me. And sometimes, maybe someone else has some great words coming out and great melody, and I'm like, I don't care who comes up with it, that's fire, and then we're just there, and then sometimes I'll go home and just write the rest of the song based off of that idea, so it's like happens differently
Huh?
all the time, so I welcome it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever wake up? This is a weird question before we go into my next one. This just popped in my head because things popped in my head. Now, as far as jokes come for jokes I performed in stand-up and also maybe messages, maybe psychic messages, I've woken up with not just jokes, but songs that I don't even like, but they have lyrics that ended up coming true within days or minutes or hours. You ever wake up
Wow.
with song lyrics in your head of things that other people sing, or maybe things that you want to make into a song? You ever wake up with things just in your head?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I've woken up with ideas, but I think the weirdest thing that ever happened is several times I had a dream that I was on this massive stage and there was huge crowds of people and I'm singing this hit song, right? And
Uh-huh.
everyone's singing along and stuff. And like in my dream, it's kind of like I'm a third party watching it. And I'm like, man,
Right?
this song is good. And I start to become lucid. And I'm like, man, if I
Ah,
could write this song down. And I wake up and I don't know anything.
huh.
Isn't that crazy?
Now, you've had this a bunch of times,
A few times. And I'm like, man, if I could, record my dream, I had a hit
right?
song there that I can't remember now, you know? It's crazy
Now,
stuff.
okay, wait a second. Now, do you have any colors that, if you think of this dream, does it have a vibe or a color, or if it could wear an outfit, what would it wear? Because that might help you build the song, these little
Mm.
aspects.
I
Does
think
it, does anything
it's too
come to
old,
mind?
but next time I'm gonna have to really, get up and write everything down right away, for
Yeah, the
sure.
second you do, I mean, and even if you can't, just think of, even like if there was a spice, like I don't think I have time to cook tonight, but I wanted to cook some cauliflower, but there's spices I use, right? There's distinct spices. So even if
Yeah,
you think of what spice would it be? Would it be Italian seasoning? Would it be Mexican
right,
seasoning? Would it be Calle Trece? Would it be Frank Sinatra? Like, what's the vibe? Maybe it'll
right.
help
And
you
then like connect
feel
the
something.
dots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not your producer, but that's my unsolicited. I think of what I would do if I were you, because I want to hear this freaking song. So I'm like trying to get it out of you. I'm like, all right, what can I say to get this song
I
out
know,
of her?
it's
Let's make this happen.
crazy. I do feel like my best ideas do come out when I'm relaxed, and man, if I'm sleeping, I must be. But definitely in the
Right? That
shower too. I have great ideas out of the shower.
yes. I actually keep my phone outside my shower and I have to write notes into my phone. I actually have wipe my hand on
Really?
I wipe my right hand on my towel and then I go behind the shower curtain and while I'm in the shower, I'll be typing stuff. I even took a 30-minute phone call. I realized I could take a phone call from the shower the other night. So shout out Red Midnight Magazine. We had a nice meeting. But all right, back to you. Now we have your new song Radio. I just want to get right into it before this interview goes away because it's a
Yeah.
quick one. Uh, why did you write it? What's the song all about? Like, why make this? What's the whole significance of this song?
Radio is about how it feels to fall in love. The star of this song is a AI created sexy radio woman that I created out of my brain.
I saw. It's cool.
And it's really sexy and it's cool and it's basically a love story about, how it feels to fall in love. It's almost like black and white. The whole world is black and white and all of a sudden you and this other person are in color and it's just big and it's
Yeah.
like nothing else exists. And that's kind of the vibe I want, just this great feeling and also just a
Huh.
lyrical play on falling in love and being sexy and without being so blunt. I wanted to be creative in how I came across with this. So if
Right.
you listen to the lyrics, it's kind of like it's very related to music because it's titled radio, but it's really
Right.
like, so grab your bass and plug it in. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like giving you these little hints, but it's
Wow.
not blunt. So if you
Nice.
listen to the lyrics, it's fun and it's just about it's about that experience. And so we made this little radio bot, and then we used technology to place it onto me dancing. So we have this radio bot just dancing around the
Oh,
backyard, and it's a story. It's a beginning of a story that's going to continue with the next singles that are coming up. So I'm excited
uh-huh.
for that, and I'm excited to grow this, the imagined characters and story for this.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time doing commercial the last 2 years, and it kind of sucks your soul and like just your feeling out of me. So I'm coming back into this feeling place. So I'm thinking about the meaning of your song. You said radio is about when you fall in love, it's like the world is black and white, and then you get an injection of color in there with the love. Now, I just want to make a quick comment. I wonder who out there listening feels the same or can relate, or I don't know. But in my teens, 20s, I fell in love, however you call it, or lust, or whatever it is, infatuation, limerence, whatever. You can use any psychological term. It was like the world was black and white, and then there's colors, there's smells. It's like, whoa, almost like
Hmm.
mania, like, oh my God. But I gotta say, it's probably since 2018, I want to say, and I'm gonna make this short. I'm gonna make it short for me. Um, it feels like not the whole time because things got really dark for a real long, like real dark. But 2018 and now, simply put, it feels like everything's super colorful and bubbling up. And I'll be honest, I'm not in love. I'm not in love or less with anyone. Both times I was thinking, wow, I actually am more alone than ever. And I've been very lucky with great relationships like a husband, but the whole world's colorful with just me. And it's like, damn, I'm 40. And that's a really cool feeling that things are like,
Hmm.
I'm
Yes, girl.
fun. Like I'm like dancing on the step mill today, and it's like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I got blocks and blocks of guys waited, but I don't have anything in my life right at all, right? So anyway, back to you. I
Mhm.
just wanted to. It's a very interesting place to be because most of my life I spent in the whole like it's black and white, and I want to meet someone, but now it's like when I'm around people like you, we had this release party, the record release party. You wrote the song bilingual. I was talking to you, I was having a really good time, but it's
Yeah.
like my world was still so fucking cold. Oops, sorry, Mark. Curse of the night. This is fine for my video, but FCC. Sorry, Mark. Oh well, we're gonna have to cut that one out. But I felt so amazing, effing amazing and colorful. And talking to you, it was just like added sprinkles. It was like, oh, this is
Yes.
even better. This
I
is
felt the
even
same
better, more.
way. And it was
Yeah,
powerful because like a bunch of women got together to support another woman, right? And that's like golden. and we were on a vibe. I was like, I can hang out with her, you
Yeah,
know?
I actually thought the same thing because, I don't know, we're women. I come across dozens, hundreds of women who are, they make me feel like something's wrong with me. They're mean to me. And it's like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying, I'm coming here. I have no bad intentions. I have only good intentions. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
why are you making me feel like scared? Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
scary thing. But
I can
when I
relate to
talked
that.
to you, it was like, I didn't feel, and I've been thinking about this the last 24, 36 hours. I didn't feel any of that I usually feel in the world at this record release party. And I
Mm-hmm.
walked in kind of bracing myself as I always do. That's just what I have to do when I walk into a public room. Someone's going to be mean to me. I'm like, who's going to be mean to me today? What do I have to do? But
Right.
we were both so like excited to be there and nice to each other. It was good vibes.
It was. Yeah, no, I completely relate to that. I've had the same experiences in life, and I think it's just about, um, I think I had to put into practice to just lead by example. Like, I don't care what's going on. This is how I want, people to be. So I'm going to put that out there no matter what they're putting
Mhm.
out. And if it
I
doesn't
like
stick, well, then, man, you're not for me. That's it.
that. I like
And it's,
that.
and sometimes, yeah, like sometimes it could be uncomfortable, but, you know, then we move on. We don't have to force anything, at this stage.
Yeah.
you know?
You know what? I wish I could move on easily, but a lot of times it'll haunt me for like a day or two when these
Yeah,
people are not. And it's like, and then a day or two, I'm like haunted with these scary feelings. So I maybe you could make a song to help me to get rid of this haunting. I'm haunted by
it's a good
this, you know?
idea because, it's very real. Like I think also I'm one of those like 4 a.m.ers that I'm up 4 a.m. thinking about something maybe that happened 10 years ago. And I'm like, why? Why? Can I sleep?
Don't get me started.
It's just
Don't
so
get me
silly, but
started.
yeah, it's just how some of us are. I think most of us are wired this way. I'm very suspicious of someone that throws their head back and is instantly asleep.
I
Very
went to film
suspicious.
set 2 days before we were at this event together on Saturday. I slept 2 hours because I woke up thinking about something that happened like a year ago and like all these other things, for the last 10 years. And I slept 2 hours and I went to set to produce on 2 hours. It was horrendous. Now,
Oh,
okay, switch back to you because we got a talented person here. All right. You got any before songwriting or singing rituals that help you get in the proper zones to perform, to create?
yeah. So I started by saying, sometimes when I take a shower, I just come out. I've got melodies. It's almost like being so relaxed that you don't care and you're just channeling something. I don't know what it is. Like maybe, it's just channeling. It depends on, your belief, channeling God, channeling, something in the spirit. But I feel like it just comes out sometimes and you don't know where it's coming from. It's like you've
Mhm.
just tuned into something. And if you're stressed out, if you got bad vibes in the room, it's just not going to happen, you know? And so, I think a lot of my experiences are, creating alone, and then creating in a team was a learned thing, and then you have to really be careful who's there, who's in the room, what kind of vibe is around you, because
Yeah.
if I'm not relaxed, I'd really have to be on point to come up with something. And it happens, sure, like, the more you
Yeah.
do it, the better you are in any situation. But I think my best material is just that pure, like, regurgitating, not knowing where it comes from, and
Yeah.
then just honoring it. Like, wait a minute. No, that just came out. I have to keep that, get a pen, write it
Yes.
down, and then write around it, you know?
Yes. You have a voice recorder? Do you record memos all day? Do you have a method for that?
I do. Oh my God, I have so many voice notes. I have so many notebooks. It's ridiculous. Like if I have so many things I don't even remember. So many ideas I don't remember that just it was a 5-second thing and I moved on in my day. And I have to
Yeah.
really go through everything, and you can only write so many songs in full.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
but
Right.
there's a lot of material in my books and in my voice notes that need to get recorded, need to be built on. Yeah.
What's one of the last ideas that came to you? Do you remember? Or can you mind
Um,
sharing with us?
let's see, the last thing I
Yeah, what's on your mind,
wrote.
girl?
Oh my
What's coming
goodness.
out?
Um, you know what? I've had, it's interesting we were talking about, the female relationship. I've had
Mm,
um, two fallings out recently, and
mm,
I wrote about it, and
nice.
I felt like I'm going to record it soon, so I'm not going to give you a title right now, but I will say it's really about changing yourself to look good to someone else because they are problematic. And it's this song is kind of like it's saying no, I'm not
Mm,
going to do that. I'm not doing that for you anymore because you won't do it for me. And I think in
hell no.
life, huh? Say it again.
Hell no. Hell no. I mean, first of all, changing
Right.
yourself, problem. And also, you're going to change yourself for someone who's not changing yourself for you. That's like a doubly unfair situation. Like, you could do so much better in your life for how you're spending your time, it sounds like.
Right. And it's, and a lot of, what it is opinion, other people's opinion of of what's right or how you should act. A lot of the time I'm like, I disagree. I don't
I
like
often
your
do.
take on this and your vantage point is horrible. Like I don't agree. And so I'm not going to change myself to look
Right.
wrong in my eyes to make you smile.
Ooh, yeah.
Cause
Yeah. I
that's
mean,
it.
there's so many situations where that can be.
Yeah. So and it's it's kind of like a freedom feeling, like I'm not doing this and I feel great type of song, like you're released into the
Yeah.
wild, you know
Question, did you end up changing yourself during this friendship before you let it go? Did you have to?
I wouldn't say change myself, but maybe like coddle somebody.
Uh-huh.
Coddle them, and oh, they're so sensitive, so I'm going to be this way around them, or
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm going to make sure not to do this particular thing because I know they hate it. Because I mean, I respect people. Like we can agree to disagree. I could be like, that's not for you, even if it's
Hmm.
something that I happily do. I could be like, oh, that's not for you, so we're not going to do that.
Right, right.
But like a lot of people won't do that for you back and then get
That's
mad at
true.
you. They'll be like, "Oh, you did this, one thing." And I was like, "Well, you have like 20 years of things that I've been coddling." You know what I
Uh,
mean? So it's kind
yeah,
of like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't change in that way for people because it
Yeah.
doesn't work. You
You know
know?
what? You know what? Simply, because and some you know I'm long-winded by now, you do. Simply, sometimes you're just like not that compatible. Like people are puzzle pieces, I say, and sometimes maybe in your teens, at age 13, you meet someone you fit. You fit. And then, 20 years later, one of you becomes like this, and then it's like here, and it's like, you're not
Mm-hmm.
really fitting together. And that's what people do. And people get mad when people you don't see this person anymore, you don't want to see this person. Well, guess what? We are ever changing puzzle pieces. If I'm here, you're here, we fit. Guess what? I might turn into this today. You might go like this, and next year we don't
No,
know.
it's the truth.
We physically can't get together. It's just not gonna work.
And you know what? Because we've known people in that type of situation, like if you know people a long time, you tend to like keep staying and keep trying and that's very much what happens, It's just, you grow so far apart that you just can't make it fit anymore.
Yeah, sad. It's really heartbreaking, I will say. Like, I will feel that in my heart because it's all happened. It's happened to me several times. Even just
Hmm.
in the pandemic. I mean, the things to separate us. I'm not going to go political on you, but the things that separate us. Who's running for president? How many vaccines you got?
Right. Right.
How many sexual partners you got? That's always been a thing, but let's add it to the list. Where do you live? Proximity. Are you black? Are you white? Do you
Hmm.
have swag or you not? Or you don't? I'm sorry, but like that's just the way I'll put it. I'm not gonna get race involved. It's not a racial thing, but like some people have a swag. Some people are
Hmm.
like, "Hi, how are you? I'm good." And I'm sorry, like I don't really
Right.
vibe with people who are stiff. I vibe with people who are more loose, who can move, have some movement, and we're going places together. But a lot of people are not going anywhere. They're here. Hi, how are you? I'm
Mhm.
good. They're stuck in their little box and they can't move and groove to the way I want. So,
It's
anyway,
robotic. It's like, it's not personalized. It's just like standard conversation.
I can't do it. I can't
Mm-mm.
do it. I don't want to do it. I'll do it for the right amount of money for work. It's called being a professional employee because I work for myself as well as work for others, and people also work for me. Anyway, all right. You were in a singing contest. You were phenomenal.
Thank you.
you sang like three songs. I was listening and I don't really see live music a lot. My grandma was sick, so I spent the last year just visiting my grandma in a nursing home. So I certainly was not going to see anyone sing live. So it was the first time I saw in a while. And I had my wisdom teeth taken out 4.5 days before my teeth.
That's
I
right.
had holes in my head. And I was like, wow, it's been like probably 3 years or maybe 2 or 3 years since I've seen someone live, probably 2 years. And you were so good. I believe you were singing a Lizzo song. Am I right?
Yeah, it's about damn time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were really, really good. Now, simple question, but how did you learn how to sing?
I was always singing. I always remember singing from so
Oh,
small. And I just remember the big things that popped into my head was Madonna and Mariah Carey.
okay.
And that was like the biggest childhood influence. But all the great big diva women, all of them. I think the blend of Lady Gaga and Pink is kind of always what I think of in my goal for my own
Yeah,
music.
I see it.
Um, like I'm not as wild, as a Gaga, but I'm
Right.
so inspired by her. Um, and Christina Aguilera's, those riffs, the big voices. I love all of that. It's so inspiring. I just
Yeah.
always grew up singing and, doing everything choir theater, dancing
Okay.
competitions. I was just always doing stuff. And then one day I was like, I always wrote. I always had since I was 9, I had been writing lyrics. So, I sat down one day and I was like, I have to do something with this. And
Hmm.
and so the journey began.
Do you have any like funny parody songs in your notes file? I just came up with
Oh
one today. It's really funny, but I want to hear yours first.
my God. I don't remember it. It was something about during COVID, something about using the bathroom and how
Uh-huh.
how like a germaphobe would interpret it. And it was in oh, wow, it was to a melody of a real song. I can't remember. I have to
We'll
go
see.
find it now.
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. Let me think mine. It came up to me earlier. I put it right in my file. I'm like, yo, I have to record this ASAP. So you know the song by Big Pun, Still Not a Player. I'm still not a player, but you still a hater.
Uh-huh.
Still not a player no more. So I came up with not a player, but you still a hater. That's the line over and over. I put I'm a player and I don't crush a lot because I don't crush a lot. It's like I'm a player and I crush a lot. No, I'm not a player and I crush a lot. I am a player and I do not crush a lot. Let's make that very clear. All right. Anyway, final thoughts from the CQ. I mean, that's just hilarious to me. I'm cracking up all day. Final thoughts. What's on your minds? Anything you just want to share? Freestyle. Final question. Anything you think
Yeah,
people should know? Anything you just want to share with us?
yeah, just I would love to let you all know again about radio. Go find it. It's streaming everywhere. It's a fun song, and we have more singles coming out this year, so I'm excited for it. So definitely follow the CQ experiment and look out for what's going on. We have a lot of local performances in restaurants, and we're adding different types of performances. So definitely follow and look out for what's next. We just want to, like, we're all about the CQ experiment is all about supporting everybody for who they really are, and just
Hmm.
everyone being themselves, and being weird.
Ah,
like
oh, well, you
like
definitely
let's
got
be weird.
that with this interview, and you got a little bit of that Saturday. So I was actually thinking while you're talking, I was like, oh, if this wasn't radio, I'd say, oh, F. I was a little off the rails with this one. I hope she doesn't mind. And maybe you did, but you know what? You said keep it weird, so we got a little weird after my Seinfeld interview.
Now,
Here we go.
the only thing that would be better if I could find my public restroom spoof song and
Well, you know what? We could do another one, and then you can show us your public restroom spoof song. And as many of our listeners know, if it involves public bathrooms, I don't want to go. That's my final thought. Thank you for listening to It Came From the Radio. This is the CQ experiment. And again, if you invite me somewhere with a public bathroom, it better be good because That's a really big problem for me. All right, back to you in the studio, Mark. See you later.